Hello, everyone. We are back for Season 2, Episode 4 of...
That's that.
And that's that.
All right. We are here. Now, if you've been following the Dreamboats here in California, you know that we've been playing with many people in the lead guitar position. We've been playing with Ben, we've been playing with Kyle, and a number of other people. But today we have a special guest in the hot seat. We got Mr. Andy Zappa, Andy Alvarez with us today. Andy, how you doing over there?
I'm doing all right.
Good, good.
Cue the audience applause.
Yes. We stole Andy for a couple days here to we put him to work recording some things.
We're currently in his bedroom.
Yes, Andy's been sleeping at the Dreamboats Rock and Roll House for a couple days. So because we called him out in the last episode, we were like, he's here for 2 days. Andy, too bad. You're doing it.
It's all right. Hold him hostage.
Now, a lot of people, Andy, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people, they look at our videos and they're like, okay, where did you find this guy? And obviously, we are from Mississauga, Canada, but you were kind of the local guy. And everyone's like, where did we find you? But we didn't really find you. I guess you kind of found us. And Andy, why don't you tell the people, how did you first hear of us? Was it literally how I think? How did you first hear the Dreamboats?
Well, I don't know. How did you think?
I don't know, man. We had you on Instagram for a bit there, and we were like, kept ignoring you. We were like, who's this guy? No, I'm just kidding. But you saw us, I guess, when we were playing with Andy Kahn.
No, you're not.
We'll get to that. That's later in the questioning. But Andy, where did you first see us?
I think when I first saw you guys perform was when I went to go watch Andy Kahn. He played with a lot of artists. The most famous musician you ever heard of.
Shout outs to Andy Kahn.
Andy
Never
Kahn,
heard, right?
Yes.
Okay.
something like that. And yeah, I guess it was at the Grammy Museum. And I was there for his Q and answers, and then all of a sudden he's like, "I have a special treat," and it was you guys. So
Here I am.
They opened the curtain, and here we were. I had one arm. That thing. I had the broken.
Yeah,
arm.
you
Had
did.
2 arms.
Yeah,
one
you did.
functional.
Yeah.
It grew back eventually.
So Andy, you saw us at Andy Kahn's book signing at the Grammy Museum. What was your first impression of the Dreamboats? Be honest, okay? You don't have to be nice because
Not too honest, but
What was your first impressions? Honestly, man. We came out there. We were in the suits.
Not, I wouldn't say that I didn't really care for it. At first, I was like, but then I kind of did what you guys did on stage too. I obviously I did my own thing,
Yeah.
but I moved around a lot too. So I kind of liked it, but I was like, who's these pricks, man?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? But it wasn't
Yeah.
a bad thing. It
No,
was
no,
just
no, I
like,
got you,
You know, I was like, all right, I dug it though. I think you guys played Twist and Shout, if I remember. It was Twist and Shout.
Yeah.
I seen Justin walking around. I seen him being scurrying everywhere.
Oh, yeah, before the show.
Yeah, I seen him.
get my scurry on.
Yeah.
So you saw us there, but then after, I guess you saw us at the Grammy Museum. What made you ended up reaching out to us? Is that how that went down? Because I know you had a phone call with Richie here, but did you end
I
up reaching
did,
out
yes.
to us?
That's now getting to that story of that old manager I had. He mentioned you guys, and then that's when I said, "Oh, I saw them at the Grammy Museum." And then I was like, "Well," and then I checked it out, and I love 50s, 60s as well, retro. I love retro music, so I don't know. I gave it a shot. I was kind of wanting to play with other musicians, and I was already starting to, and so I just reached out to you guys, and it went from there. Here we are.
It was such a good experience. I think the first time I ever met Andy, you're so sweet and endearing, and he traveled and he
came out.
It was such a good time when we first started.
Well, I remember when
Playing
he
the
got
first
off
day.
the phone with you. He came in the house. You remember the old house, and Richie was just like, he's like, okay, I just got off the phone with Andy. I'm like, oh, that guitar player that messaged us. He's like, yeah. He's like, dude, this guy's a character. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, and he had this like little smirk on his face, and I was like, okay, cool.
Did I say it like that?
No,
This
you
guy's
had a little
character?
smirk. You're like, he's a character. Oh, I remember you saying that 100%. Not in a bad way. We say that. He was like,
okay.
this guy's a character.
It was a good
man.
thing.
Yeah, it was a
Both
good thing.
bad, good.
But I remember that day Andy came out. We have it in the last episode. We got a little. I remember you showed up. You had the full Canadian tuxedo, and
I didn't even know that either.
You were just rocking out, man.
I didn't even know that's what it was called.
Canadian at heart.
You showed up in a pickup
Canadian in a
truck.
tuxedo.
That's it.
Pickup truck?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You took your dad's.
I borrowed my dad's
Your
truck.
dad's truck.
No way,
Hold
crazy.
Yeah. He pulled up in the pickup truck, and we're just like, well, who's this guy? Anyways, the rest is history. But Andy, as we said, you are the only guy, I guess, who is not from our hometown of Mississauga. So, Andy, you grew up in L.A.
Yes, sir.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Lincoln Heights, California.
Now, Andy, I've noticed out here, or we've noticed, that a lot of the younger generation, especially in L.A., first of all, there's a lot of retro bands out here in L.A., lots. But a lot of the younger generation knows this music. Why would you say that is? That people out here dig kind of 50s and 60s. What got you into that music?
I would say my parents got me into it, and my grandparents.
Okay.
They would watching my grandparents slow dance in their living rooms, and my dad would play all the records. He had like Queen, AC/DC, all the bands you could think of. Just going way back from even the 30s to like all the way to 80s, 90s. He used to show me, just have his records out. He'd be like, "Here, listen to this," and I just listened to it, and he'd just make me listen to music all day. So that's how I got into it.
Nice, but especially like the 50s and 60s, like
Yes.
that was being played?
Yeah, a lot, yeah.
I remember you were saying something about your grandfather listening to these songs in Spanish.
Yeah, and when he was growing up in Mexico, my dad was telling me a story that all the artists in Mexico would cover. They would play all their covers. They wouldn't play the originals. So it was all in Spanish.
Nice.
So, it would be like twist and shout, but it'd be in Spanish. And then he came over here to the States, and he heard the Beatles, version, the original one. Well, Isley Brothers, but the most popular one. And anyways, he heard it, and he's it just blew his mind that how it's.
It was in English.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's a good history of that and that culture of.
So you're saying this? What you were listening to initially was like the Dreamboats of Mexico?
Yeah,
Los Dreamboats?
Basically, it was a lot of that music, but in Spanish.
But Andy, what made you pick up the guitar for that first time? Like, who inspired you? How did that happen?
I feel like it was all around, like my family. My cousins play, my uncle plays, my dad's a DJ. The whole family is like, music lovers.
Sure.
Especially the Beatles.
Okay.
So I feel like too, that's why, we get along so well, because music, Beatles are number one, I feel like, in this thing going on over here.
How old were you when you started guitar?
10.
10?
I was 10 years old,
You
yeah.
got a couple years on me, but I got a couple years on you.
Where did you
age-wise?
Where'd you get that guitar? Who gave it to you?
The first guitar was an acoustic. I remember it was called, the brand was a Johnson. It was like a really cheap $50 guitar.
Johnson & Johnson? Okay.
Do you guys remember your first like instrument or guitar? Because I remember my first guitar was like a classical guitar, and it was my grandmother's, and the bridge was
so high?
It was so high
Oh,
that
yeah.
when I brought it in for a guitar lesson, the guy's like, "I'm not going to teach you today because I'm worried that's going to just snap off, take somebody's eye out."
Yeah.
And then but my parents like, "You got to play for a bit before you get you something." And then I got a crate, like a crate guitar and
Nice.
amp.
Crate brand?
Yeah, crate.
That's good.
You guys remember yours or?
Richie.
I remember I got a Washburn when I was 19 years old.
The Ibanez knockoff, nice.
Washburn from Walters Music. Was
Walters.
It?
I worked there
You
for a
were
little
working
period
there
of
for a
time.
minute. Yeah, Walters. Yeah.
It was literally probably a minute, but
Walters, eh? Yeah, that was a shout out to Walter. But I remember my first guitar. I mean, it was a bass guitar. It was a Washburn as well. And I remember the guy at LA Music playing it. He was slapping it, and it was sounding so good. And then I brought it home. I was like, this thing sucks. And I remember just the action got so high, and I realized it was like a short neck bass. I was like, I didn't know what. That's the thing. When you don't know anything about musical instruments, getting into it, you are at the mercy.
yeah, whatever anybody says.
You're at the mercy of the salesman.
I feel
He's
like when you're
this
young-
is a good one. I'm like, all right.
And when you're young, if the action gets high, it's like, well, this thing doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
I probably need a new one. It's like,
Meanwhile,
you can't do anything.
It's
I
sitting
wrote
in a
this.
basement, like
Yeah.
just fermenting for months.
What about first drum kit? Because you're a drummer. So.
My first drum kit, I got it also at LA Music. This is before Long and McQuaid. And I didn't know the first thing about drum kits. All I knew was $400. And on the kick drum, the skin said Maxwin by Pearl. So for all these years, I thought it was this Maxwin brand by Pearl. But years later, I actually looked at the little thing, the plaque on the toms, and it was Westbury.
I mean, you have the exact same story. Like I got my
Plywood.
first
Got all
$400
bamboozled again.
Yeah, bamboo.
$400 for my white Westbury kit.
I had a
with,
white Westbury.
Had a white Westbury too.
Where'd you get it?
I got like I don't know, my dad, like I was banging on pots and pans for like 2 years, jamming along with like Weezer and Green Day songs, till finally my dad was just like, all right, I got to get this guy a drum kit, because he already got like a guitar for my brother. He got my brother like a Fender Strat, like a Mexican white Fender Strat that emulated Jimi Hendrix Isle of Wight, and my dad was a big Jimi Hendrix fan. And then it took like freaking 2 years before my dad's like, okay, I got to get this guy some drums, and we went on like the classified ads in the paper.
Oh, old school
style, man, and got like I got like a Sabian B8 crash ride, like 18 cymbal, just one cymbal, and a 5-piece kit. And B8 hi-hats and the full kit.
My first drum kit was a result of telling my younger brother to play drums, because I wanted to put a band together.
Yeah.
And I was like, you play drums. And then I think it was my grandmother was like, I'll buy him a drum kit. So we went to Just for Drums in Toronto.
Toronto.
In Toronto. And we got like an orange Mapex kit, which we still have to this day. But it came back to the house. He played it for like 10 minutes or something. I don't know how long. And then I was just on that thing for hours every day. And I'm like, okay, it's mine now.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. You get
Still
older
in the
brothers,
basement
man.
at this point.
Jeez.
Well, do you guys remember? I'll start with Andy. Andy, do you remember the first song you actually really learned on guitar? Like where you're like, oh, I got, you know what I mean? Like the first confident song. What was your first song on guitar that you learned, Andy?
It was probably it's called Honeybee by Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Okay.
That's probably like the one.
Would you learn the solo and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
From
Okay.
beginning to end. Yeah.
Beginning to end. How old were you when that happened? Like, what are we talking?
Like 11? 11?
11.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Just started with the solos, right?
Yeah.
Never ended.
Started with arpeggios and
Yeah?
Sweeping.
What was it, Justin? What was the first song you learned confidently on any instrument?
Oh, it's hard to say. I was playing piano for many years before guitar, but
Classically trained, eh?
and I can't remember any of those songs.
classic rat.
Yeah. That's
But
it.
then it was probably, I don't know, probably a Green Day song or something. There's
Okay.
a little Serial Joe in there, maybe.
Serial Joe,
man.
What's that
Sergio.
one song? It was like
You
an
don't know that,
ECG.
That's
I can't remember what it's
Canadian.
called. It was like their banger, but then it was like
Mistake?
that. Probably
It's all
Mistake. I
a
remember. I think I
mistake.
met them at the
How
time
long
too.
will
Yeah.
it take?
I remember just
That
playing that for
hairstyle?
hours in the basement. I'm like, I'm a rock god.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
The basement. Andy, you guys don't have the basements out here in California, but
No.
the basement in Canada, it's where the jam sessions went down.
Yeah.
It's where everything went down. Literally
My
in
old
the basement.
my old
Where your
band
drum
had an
kits, like,
album
collected dust.
before I played with them. They had an album called In the Basement. So
Yeah.
it's like that's it, man. Basements where it's at.
That's
in
it.
Canada.
Suburban basements. Richie, what was the first song you kind of felt confident
On
at?
guitar or
On
the
anything,
drums?
man. What was that first song you felt really good at?
When I started playing drums, you pretty much play anything off the Blue album of Weezer.
Okay.
As long as you can play like a
Okay,
beat.
nice.
And
We
then
just
I think-
relived that for the 30th year.
I know, yeah. And then I went
This
to
week.
the Weezer concert there.
Yeah.
I was like, I was in heaven there. They played at Acrisure Arena,
It was a good night.
and they played a lot of selections from Pinkerton, and then they finished off the album with the concert with the Blue album was a pretty cool thing. And then a guitar. What was the first song on guitar? I guess I was playing power chords, like Green Day power chords. My brother was playing guitar, and he's just like, and like he used to like bust my chops about Green Day because and he'd be like, oh, these songs are so easy, man.
Yeah.
And like playing like power chords. I'm like, whatever. So I was seeing that shape and like the
1-5.
foundation of just those, the 1-5, the shape. So I like to think that it was like maybe When I Come Around or something like
Cool.
that, or Glycerine by Bush X because it was the exact
Nice.
same
Nice.
thing
I
as
think
When I Come
That's
Around.
a good song.
I think my first songs on drums were like All Killer No Filler by Sum 41. I
Oh.
just had to learn that like whole album because I was obsessed at the time.
Went
but-
right to Steve-O.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Steve-O.
cool.
So we all play guitar. How about this? Who was the first, and shout them out, who was the first girl you ever serenaded on a guitar? And which song was it?
Never serenaded a girl.
Come on, get outta
Just
here.
me. I didn't even start singing
Oh,
until
Johnny.
like
Johnny.
8 years ago.
Okay, well,
no,
what happened
like
after that?
5 years ago. I didn't feel confident singing. People used to come over to my house in my basement, and they'd be like, "Hey, play the drums," and I'd be all there. I'm like,
Here's my drum
It was
solo.
always so awkward.
Yeah.
Especially, I remember like family
like,
parties and
dance.
they'd be like, come down and play the drums, and I'm like, so
We're gonna
loud.
play,
Like,
yeah.
you just
Pop,
play,
pop,
let's
boom,
play in the air
everybody's all
tonight.
plugging their ears, and you're like, do I have to keep going?
Oh yeah, my friends would come over and they'd be like, "Hey, yeah, play drums," and I'm just like, "Okay."
Just sit there and jam like this. Okay, you didn't serenade anybody.
No, I didn't serenade.
Who was the first
I
song?
think of first song. I can't remember.
I think-
Probably
I
like
think
my
the fir-
girlfriend in like first or second year of high school.
I think the first song I did was probably You're Mine, Richie Valens. That was the first song.
Nice.
I ever
We belong
serenaded.
together?
Yeah.
Dude, man, nice. Who's the girl? Who's the lucky lady?
We're talking about the first song?
First song and the
Bro,
first and the
that
lady.
was like in like second grade.
yeah,
Your
who's
mom.
the lucky lady? She's
mom,
watching
right?
this right
I
now.
don't remember.
Richie, okay, I know you're dying to tell because I know you've serenaded. You serenade to this day. What was the first song you
What was the
serenaded?
first serenade song? I mean, I'm the singer in the 50s and 60s. How could I not serenade? I
Of
serenade
course.
on a nightly basis.
The
Mr.
viewers
Sweet
want.
Nothings himself.
Yeah, sweet nothings.
The viewers want to know what was the first song you serenaded someone to, and how old were you?
I think it was maybe Donna.
Donna.
Donna,
the
maybe,
song
I think.
Donna.
Okay.
Oh, Donna.
And then O'Donna, and I think hold on, how old was I? Jeez, maybe like early teens, maybe.
Richie. Okay, you got to tell me a story. I got to interrupt
Okay.
you right now.
All right.
You told me a story. I don't know if we're even gonna keep this. Okay.
Okay.
But you told me a story
Okay.
where you were singing in your bedroom. Okay.
Yeah.
And you got caught. You got caught singing to yourself. Do you feel comfortable sharing this story?
Of course,
Because-
yeah,
okay.
whatever. It's
Richie,
okay.
tell us this story,
I don't know
okay?
if, like-
I haven't heard this.
I don't
No,
know if
you gotta
anyone-
hear
I don't know
this.
if like anyone like. Okay, what I used to like love doing when I was younger, because like man, I loved rocking out. I loved performing, and there was like. And in my basement, I'd have like this hockey stick that came up protruding from like the back of like my my basketball net. It would be kind of like in the angle of a mic stand.
Sure.
And I'd just be putting on like Weezer and Green Day, like Dookie and Blue Album, Pinkerton and Offspring Smash, just putting it like the cassettes on and playing like air guitaring with like my fake guitar and then like singing into this thing.
Nice.
And then like if anyone came down the stairs, man, it
Oh,
was like
yeah,
equivalent of
sure.
like like shame.
Yeah.
How do you want to like
I have
outline
one of those.
exactly
The concert is
was
done.
equivalent of the shit? I mean, sitting back on my couch pretending like nothing just happened. And I remember I used to have that set up in my basement. I used to at least be able to hear people come down the stairs, and I had another setup where like I was in I used to share a room with my brother, and there was like a bunk bed. Okay. And in between, I used to stay on the top, and in the bunk bed, there used to be like, I used to take like this cylindrical piece of wood and put it in between like the sandwich of like the
Yes.
bunk bed. And I'd be like
Making it happen.
singing into it. You know what I mean? Like singing into it. And I remember I thought I was like watching, like just doing this on my own with playing. And then I remember I was doing this, and then I looked out the window. The window was open, and I saw my brother and his best friend Simon literally looking out the window, laughing at like
no.
this, bro. I thought I was gonna die.
I
Like,
know that
I
feeling.
can't. I
I
can't.
do
Like the
know that
embarrassment
feeling.
of like,
I know that
of like
feeling.
No.
a guy, like you know what I mean, like
Dude.
just
You're
you know,
thinking you're alone.
rock fantasizing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know,
Getting
like
caught.
you're on stage at Wembley Stadium
Yeah.
or something,
God.
and it was just like, yeah, that was all shame.
Oh my god.
I feel like I have like the opposite equivalent of that because it was, I was all into like Korn in probably like grade 8 or something. And you know, Korn gets their breakdowns. He gets all that gibberish going. He starts doing like that. Like it's not even
Yeah.
words. And then he starts like crazy headbanging. And I was in my room and I had my headphones on and my CD player. And that breakdown comes. And I'm just like all like Jonathan Davis headbanging all over the room like nuts. And then if the headphones fall off and I turn up, my brother is standing there. He's just been watching for who knows how long. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like I don't even know where to go or what to do, what to say.
The shame.
Well, that was the
shame.
thing. It was like the basement. It was the same thing with the drums. Like when my parents would go out, or even when they were there, it was like I had a view of the stairs, and you'd want to rock out, but every now and then you'd have to check. But even when they'd leave, sometimes I'd turn off all the lights and I'd pretend like I was in this like stadium, like I was playing this stadium
Sure,
show.
yeah.
I would set up like a lighting little thing and just into it, and then it's like all of a sudden, you know, they come back, you're rocking out, you're all into it, and it's just like the light, like
lights
party's
come on.
over, concert's done, and you're just like, you just get caught. You know, sometimes you look up and someone's standing there waiting.
That's
You're
so
just
rough.
like, "Ah." You know, Andy, have you been caught or what?
Yeah, I used to get the little broom and just pretend to play it like a guitar,
Yeah?
dude, and just be
Nice.
like,
I did that too.
yeah, and then you know, just like zoning out, and then sister would walk in, I just like pretend.
just cleaning
I'm
the
just cleaning the room.
You're doing a lot of cleaning.
He's always cleaning his
Place is
room.
spotless.
It's crazy because we've talked about this in past episodes, like the theme of why do some people just feel the need to like perform? You know what I mean?
I feel like you're kind of like born with it.
I think so. I think
Kinda
so.
just, I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
You have this need to
At some
like,
point it clicks, you know, something happens
Yeah.
to your life and you start realizing, and then it's just like you're just on a path.
Well, I remember like we talked about this. It was like I remember in grade 5 on the announcements, they're like the St. Basil Talent Show is coming up, and I remember immediately my heart was just like, oh, we're doing something. I don't even know where that came from, and I remember getting my buddies. I'm like, okay, the Blues Brothers 2000, that movie came out, and I remember just being, I'm like, okay, boys, all right. We're doing something. I'm like, we're gonna make something happen here. We're gonna do some Blues Brothers thing. I don't know why I just jumped to do that.
It's just a yearning.
Most people, not most, but a lot of people would just kind of be like, oh, hell no.
And that's the thing. I know some people that just like get in front of people, like get in front of like public speaking and just
That's
like
a different
it's just
thing,
a
though. That's
nightmare. It's an
different
absolute
beast, but
nightmare.
it's-
You know?
Yeah.
I used to do the public speaking.
And no one wants to ever talk about it to feel like, oh, I like to get in front of crowds because I feel like conceited or something. It's just a feeling of just like
It's an
you like that
adrenaline rush.
excitement,
It's
it's
a
the
high.
adrenaline, and just like or like all eyes on me, everyone look at me or something. It's not necessarily.
But you're
like
also
that.
making other people have a good time. That's the big thing.
yeah, I
about
think
it. That's the challenge, and
Yeah.
what
Because
makes it rewarding.
There's a vulnerability there, big time. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's something else.
But that actually leads to a good question because, Andy, I remember when we first started I remember the second gig we played with you. This is when we first kind of moved down here. We played at like the kind of retirement old age home. And
when was that?
You weren't there. It was myself, Richie, and Andy, and we were playing at this retirement home here in California. And this guy was like doing the splits, jumping on tables, like stepping in people's like food. And we are just like, who is this?
Stepped on the table, just kicked over like this girl's fruit cup, and she was just like, what?
Yeah, but I remember Andy brought it, and Andy brings it every show. Andy, what made you? Why did you start doing the stage antics? That's where I feel like we click with you. Is that you bring the stage show? Why did you start doing that? Like, when did that happen? Why? How did you start doing the splits?
It just works.
But like most people don't do that.
I'm limber.
No, but like
I think I got the influence. I like a lot of blues music, and I think I saw this guitar player named T-Bone Walker do it.
Okay.
And Chuck Berry, obviously seeing Chuck Berry do his moves.
Yeah.
And this one video I saw on YouTube, and I was like, I just got to do it. I don't know.
I remember
Gotta do it.
remember the
Like,
time we
you know?
played. Where was it again? Where we played at. What's that one in Palm Desert again? There, that hotel,
Larkspur. Yeah,
Larkspur.
Yeah.
I remember when we played. Tally was there too, and we just kind of put this show together as last second. They wanted us to play like 3 sets. We're like scrambling to do this, and I remember when you got down on your back, and then I remember you kicking off the wall and rolling on your back. I remember just looking at Johnny, being like, "Oh, this is the most amazing thing."
This is it.
I know,
Like,
because
finally.
we always thought we had high energy, and then it was like we started playing with this guy, and we're just like, okay, now we gotta like up the game.
Now we got something,
You
yeah.
you made us. You set a bar high in certain areas of this band for sure.
A lot of cool shameless guitar stage moves. Like this guy, is this guy rolling on his back right now?
That's it.
I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it.
Yeah,
It's a good time.
Yeah, it
Every
is. Oh
edition,
man,
we're a
so
little
it's
less
amazing.
shameless. That's it.
Yeah,
You have to
Or a
get
little more
shameless.
I
Yeah.
should say.
You gotta like not be. You can't be in your head. You can't be thinking what people are gonna think. You just got to do what you do. You know.
Well, and I like the fact that Andy, it takes a certain kind of person to come into the Dreamboats and just kind of make things happen. And I remember, Andy started jumping up. Oh no, Andy started doing the splits in front of my kick drum, and then I remember you started getting up, and Andy was like, "Yo, Richie, you got to jump over me," and that like became a thing. He kind of dictated this move, and that's like a great move.
I remember Yamaval, right, tried to 360 over you, and I remember landing and almost falling off the stage. Oh my God, we gotta chill.
That was good.
That was a great time. Yeah.
Andy,
you bring the best out of us, Andy.
Of course. And Andy, what was it like, playing with us kind of for the first time? Do you have any memories? Because obviously we try to be really energetic. Were you kind of like, okay, I found my people? Or were you like, yo, I got to one up these guys right now?
I feel like the first gig I played with you guys that I thought was very memorable for me was Pappy and Harriet's.
Oh, yeah.
That was very fun.
Justin,
Playing with
nice.
Justin there, that
Yeah.
was a good time.
Yeah,
I had a
man.
great time there.
That was great. What happened? That was all... I'm trying to remember.
as well. But
That was
I
a
know
bit
of a
it
blur.
fired
Yeah, it
up
was.
show.
It was
That was an
pretty-
intense show.
That was
It was
before
good.
Trini
I remember.
Lopez, the Trini Lopez thing.
Oh, that was right after the Trini
Yeah,
Lopez.
after the Trini
That's
Lopez.
right. Andy came in and saved the day.
Tried.
But Andy, okay, I don't know if you even have an answer to this off the hop, but we're so like in our own little cocoon here, myself, Richie, Justin, and Eric. Are there any quirks about the Dreamboats or anything you've noticed about us that like we don't that we do?
Be gentle.
How long do you want this
gentle.
episode to be?
Be gentle.
No, but what's something about the Dreamboats? Like, are we too like this or like I don't know? What are your thoughts? And don't hold back.
I feel like when you guys like something, you guys have an addiction to it.
Like what, a phrase?
Like or anything, a phrase, a saying, anything really.
Yeah, we just get nuts on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beat it over the head or
those
what?
Balboni cards, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God, man.
Shout out to Johnny Hamcheck.
Here I am.
Here I am.
I love it. That's what, like, I don't know. That's what's fun. That's what makes that unit function here. You know, is everybody's personalities, quirks, and all that. That's what. I feel like that's what works, you know?
Nice.
I
man.
like it.
I know. Well, I feel like you've seamlessly, fit in. Like I've said, we play with a lot of people down
Andy's
here,
family,
but
man.
you just kind of came in and we're just like, all right, this guy's cool. Okay, and as we mentioned before, we got Andy down here for a certain reason. Andy, we were recording some stuff. Justin, maybe you can kind of kick off. What were we doing here? Why did we bring Andy here these 2 days?
Yeah, I think when I first came down and joined the band and then coming back in the last, whatever, it's been 6 months or so, one of the things that I really wanted to do with this band was to focus more on covers for social media. Something where we can set up in a room, play the songs as we play them live. We don't want to overproduce them. We want it to feel raw and real. But then we can mess around with the video footage. Some of it will be us here, as you see, playing live. And then some of it we're going to kind of work on and try to make it entertaining for social media. And yesterday was the first time we all got together and did this. That was the main reason we brought Andy out here. And as you can see, it's all set up. So that was the idea.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think it was good. We got a whole bunch of tracks. Richie, how were you feeling on the tracks? We got a lot done.
Felt amazing. I love the fact that we all got to sing, lead on a track yesterday and whatnot. And felt good doing... Honestly, my favorite were like the ones that we just didn't really even plan until like the last second.
It's usually like that.
Yeah. Hippie Hippie Shake. And what was the second one we did? Come On, Let's Go. Just love playing it. It was good to do it because these songs are so back pocket, like just back of the hand, so easy right now.
And like Eric said, what's the difference between performing these songs live and performing them in studio? I mean, I feel like we're such... we're so good at performing these songs live. They're second nature. And then it's like, as soon as that record button hits, it's still pretty second nature, but I'm not going to lie. Like there's something in the back of your head. You're like, you gotta solidify your parts. How do you guys feel like recording?
Yeah, I feel like right away the tempos change because there's such an adrenaline in this band with our performance that when we're standing around like, hey, what are we playing? We're thinking about it. Tempos slow down and we start focusing on the particulars. But as we went through the day and we started to get into these songs that we didn't plan on doing, that's where you saw a lot of the energy come out because it started feeling like, okay, we're just jamming.
Yeah.
And I think that's the goal is how can we get to that point quicker with this stuff because that's what this band is, playing together live.
I know.
And we have to capture that more than anything.
I've accepted that. It's like, we've done To a Click, we've done multi-track, and that's great in different capacities. But when you're trying to do the songs that we play every week, like imagine a song like Johnny Be Good we've been playing for like 15 years every week, and then you start putting that to a click track. Just like,
it's not gonna be the same
we're
thing.
not doing it to a click. It's just how it is. It's just how it is.
It's always like the same. I don't know. For the most part, it's usually pretty consistent with the tempo, regardless the click anyway. So that's a good sign of a good meter. Good
One of my
drummer.
favorite performances of the whole day yesterday, and I hope we can jump to that clip right now, is Johnny's Frankie Valli impersonation. So
Oh, you
we're gonna
guys hating on Frankie Valli.
Johnny just nailed it. He did a real good job. Can we cue that up?
You're just not moving your mouth. Just poor Frankie Valli. I love Frankie Valli. He's coming to the desert, eh?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Andy,
We're
you
going.
saw that.
We're good. We gotta go.
I don't know if we're around, but we should go. It'd be great to meet him.
I don't know. I've just seen those clips.
No, I'm
where they
down.
go, like, I'm not going to be singing. Like, I mean,
He's a living legend.
no, I mean, his songs are amazing. It's just,
Oh, yeah.
It's so crazy. It reminds me kind of like even like the Chuck Berry thing. It's just like they're older. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if whether it's them wanting to do it themselves, that's one thing. I just hope that these guys don't feel any pressure to feel like they have to for financial reasons or anything like that, because it's just then it starts becoming sad. You know what I mean? And
he's 91.
I kind
crazy.
of don't like the fact that he like became like this meme online. You know what I mean? And like
honest,
people
like,
are digging into it.
I
you know?
never really
like
knew
it.
Yeah,
the band.
like-
I've heard the name, but I didn't really know much of the band before. So
Yeah.
it's like this is kind of like one of my first
I feel
impressions
bad,
of
man.
him.
It's
but he
exposing.
also did make a post clarifying that
Yeah.
like he's out there doing it in whatever capacity he can because he enjoys doing it, and I respect that. You know, people can make fun of it. People make fun of anything,
Yeah.
like whatever. But the guy's out there. He's still on stage. I'm sure he's having fun with
Yeah,
it.
I thought the same thing with like with Chuck Berry when he was like 90, something, and he was like playing solos out of not even the right key and just hammering away. And
That's punk rock,
people
though,
don't
baby.
even care, I guess. Yeah,
It's
people
just-
just watch
It's
it,
just to
right?
be in the
I do that.
presence of greatness.
Yeah, and you know what? And if that's the case, awesome. But
I think that also shows like the younger generation them too. I feel like, I mean, even though he's a meme, I think it's still like they kind of
Exposure?
It
yeah.
exposes the song. That song, I feel like,
I
is
think
going to
so.
start trending. Like,
Absolutely.
it's in every video. You know what I mean? It's like
It's a great song.
people. It's
Well, that
exposing.
song's amazing. His
We
songs
should
are
do that
amazing.
song.
We should be doing that one too good to be true.
I
be a
bet
good
you
idea.
he's selling a lot more tickets because of that video, because people want to go there. They probably want to capture that, but I don't know. Like, I think it's a good thing. I know it's in.
I know they say no press is bad press, but at the same time, though, I want to always show respect to an older guy like that. Like,
Sure.
I love the idea that you can keep going that far into your life and career, because I hate when I see bands falling apart and
Yeah.
people like they can't play anymore. Whatever capacity I get, whatever you got to do to get me out on stage at that age, if I'm still around, just do it.
If you're
Wheel
91
me out there, hook me up to
Yeah.
an
You
oxygen tank.
know the
I'm
story.
down to go.
And I'd love to feel like I'm healthy enough to sing at 91 and be on stage and people come and still want to see me. You know what I mean? It's just, there's a part of me that makes me feel like, is it true like in the movie where like he was like indebted to like the mob
Yeah.
boss picking up like the tab of like his band member? Like he's still paying it off till today. He's got
Imagine.
to like keep on performing
The
to like
dark
pay
side
off
of the
some
music
debt.
industry.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Having
man.
A great
Who
time.
knows? But
I don't know.
that's awesome.
I don't know.
Well, he wrote that letter on Facebook or whatever, but it had some spelling mistakes. So I'm assuming it was real. It wasn't AI generated. Anyways, well, I don't know. I guess we can kind of wrap that up. We're trying a new segment today. And I don't really know how this is going to go, but we're going to have Eric behind the decks. Eric, we love you. He's
Decks?
the man behind the
Do
mask.
some
The voice of
scratching
God.
for us back there.
We're
okay?
gonna do some quick little rapid fire things here to end this episode. We're gonna do some rapid fire.
Okay.
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 Who's
And we're gonna
answering the
start.
rapid
We're gonna
fire?
start with Justin, and we're gonna go this
We're all
way.
answering the same question.
Yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be like one word answers. You can like elaborate a bit, I think.
Okay.
If you
How
want
about-
if you want to.
We'll start
Yeah,
with
that sounds
Justin
good.
the first round, then we'll start with me. So it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
always on Justin.
Okay,
Good.
first one.
Okay, I don't know what these are gonna be.
Okay. What are you listening to right now that might surprise the viewers? Or even if it doesn't, just what are you listening to right now?
The new Sum 41 album all the time.
New Sum 41 album?
Yeah, all the Heaven and Hell. That's
Nice.
not going to surprise anybody, but that's what I'm listening to.
You're always playing that in the
Yeah.
in the van.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, man. Right on. Sum 41, the hometown guys.
Is that the one you had me?
yeah,
That-
we're shredding on that earlier.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good album. Check out that album.
Great.
Andy.
What do you listen to?
Bossa Nova.
Hey, nice.
Bossa
Who?
Nova.
Just anything?
Yeah, I kind of just have a playlist on. Just
Nice, man.
Playing it.
I went through a big bossa nova phase too, man. I love bossa nova, man. Like from the '60s, like old school.
Yeah, I feel like Sergio Mendes.
Nice,
Kind of
man.
bossa nova.
Joao Gilberto or what? You ever listen to him? You gotta check it out, man.
No.
Oh, I'll show you.
Yeah, show me.
It's
that.
great, man.
Who am I
Bossa
listening to? I know their first names. It's Chapel Roan. What is it again? Chapel Roan. Yeah.
What song?
Good Luck Babe. There's a couple of songs listening to. Like, just have her album that I'm playing. Download it when you're flying, and it's just been on my library, or whatever. So when I'm out and about or working out or whatever, I'll check out some of the songs.
Nice.
I like pop.
That's great.
Yeah.
I've been listening to two things recently. First of all, I've been listening to the Fools Gone Wild soundtrack. That's gonna be the
That's right.
surprise because I don't know,
Spotify rap.
man. I'm addicted to the Fools Gone Wild account. Andy got me on it on Instagram. I've been listening to Lil Mystery. I got to meet I got to give a fist bump to Lil Mystery, which was really cool.
Nice.
So that would be the surprise album. But I've also, Andy, you got me into The Sinceres out of East LA.
Yeah.
Joey Quinones, love that band, and they're really just making songs. Like, it's all about the slow jams with that band.
That's
It's
it,
all about,
yeah.
I mean, they have like more up-tempo stuff, but the slow jams are just so authentically like R&B 60s. It's really cool. I've just been loving The Sinceres. Shout outs.
Nice.
What's one guilty pleasure song that you love but wouldn't admit to in public?
Okay, I'm gonna kick this off. Guilty pleasure song. I'm gonna get so much hate for this. Higher by Creed.
Can you take?
Okay,
What's the one that's
Good song, man.
it's a great
is a
song.
good song.
That is.
Okay, and I'm saying it here. Creed was the first.
Oh, is that the one where he's
Arena-
all
I don't remember the video. Okay,
through the air, down the-
and you know what? Talk
Talk
about, you know what? We're talking about Frankie Valli, but Creed also gets memed a lot, and they are self-aware of the meme. And I think the meme and the joking around is a way of exposing to people these days. If you can get memed, for better or for worse, I think it exposes them. And Creed is having a really big comeback right now. So yes, Creed, higher. Hate me if you want, okay? I know you guys all hate it. Especially Eric over there. He's got a little grin on, but that's, yes, guilty pleasure, okay? Richie, next.
I don't know. I think it's a guilty pleasure song. I don't know. There's nothing I really listen to that would be like a guilty pleasure, I guess.
It's something that's a little questionable here.
Do you know, I don't know. I like girl pop, even if it's like sometimes like really, really like catchy or like
Doja Cat.
should be listened to it.
Yeah,
You know,
Doja.
what's that song? Actually, no, I can't say I'm ashamed of it because I actually did a light cover of it.
Feeling
on-
lonely.
And I wish it was a love and I
You
could
know me. Who is that?
Now
That's
you're
TikTok.
lying in
Is that
my
K-pop
room.
or something?
Yeah, it's like
It's like-
K-pop band. It's called. I think the group name is 50/50.
Okay, I
That's
remember.
my guilty pleasure.
Okay,
Not as guilty as Creed, I must admit, but it's a guilty pleasure.
all right, that's good. Andy.
I guess guilty pleasure probably be like Lily Allen, Smile.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know that one.
No, you got to check it out. It's a good song.
So is it guilty?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you're proud of that.
I am proud of that.
Okay,
It's a good song.
all right, great.
Trying to look through my phone to find the Guilty Pleasure song, but I can't find it. Earlier today, I listened to Under the Sea.
Under the sea.
I know why you listen to Under the Sea. I know why you listen because there's been
My SeaWorld song.
been a lot of seafood being cooked around here
Salmon
recently.
being cooked around here, boys.
You walk in and you just smell some salmon and
Oh,
shrimp.
I'm
and
sorry. The shrimp.
Under the Sea.
Okay, I don't know what it
the,
is.
the Dreamboat's house is a mess. Life
gonna-
under the sea.
It's been bad. It's been bad for a couple occasions. I remember opening up some cod. I was
Cod?
like 2 days.
We got back
like,
from the
old.
show.
Oh,
And I was like,
man.
listen, man, Chris,
Oh.
it's 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, can you just not cook this seafood in my bedroom right now?
Not even seafood. That's
And he's
fish.
just
That's
like-
straight up
He's
fish.
just like, oh, it's okay, man. And then he opened that thing. And
I
good God, he
gonna
unleashed
cook
a
it in
demon.
there. Yeah, man. Oh, there was something. There was
Oh,
something
remember
going
that
on.
salmon that was fermenting in the garbage or something? We came in, we're like, oh.
And then my bedroom became nicknamed SeaWorld.
Yeah, SeaWorld.
Cue the music.
Seaweed is always green.
I never smelled something so vile in quite a
was
long
horrible.
time.
That was
That was.
dirty.
I genuinely felt guilty on that. I felt bad. I went to my room. I grabbed a bunch of candles. I lit it up and like.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
you,
lit
oh,
it
you
up.
lit that place up. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
my God.
Oh, I'm sorry, Just man. I'm not cooking in there anymore. I
So
promise.
guilty pleasure under the sea.
If you had to pick an animal that best represents you, what would it be and why?
I know we can all say at the same
just
time, man.
For me,
Definitely.
say it.
Rat.
Oh, rat.
We're all a bunch of rats.
No, that's
What's like an unpopular opinion you might have about music, the state of music, or just in general, like the business you guys are in? What's like an unpopular opinion you may have?
Oh.
Unpopular.
Unpopular
AI?
opinion.
I got
Sure. If you
unpopular
want to go into it, Andy, you start. Go. What do you think about AI and music?
I don't know too much about all of that AI stuff, but I know that, I don't know. I think there's good and bad with it. It could be good for, I don't know, I guess commercials or whatever, but it kind of takes away like, you know, like Justin was songwriting today, and like I kind of went in there, you know, he could have got, you know, an AI, something that has to do with AI, a guitar solo, but, you know, I tried it, and, you know, that's more of a soul, you know, going in there. I don't know, but it's,
Sure.
I think AI has a lot to do.
Everyone's jobs are
with
lightly at
everything.
risk.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's unpopular too. I think a lot of people feel that way, you know. So,
Okay.
well, I mean, I don't know.
To be very unpopular, then I support all of it. I don't care if it's AI or how any music is done. I just, whatever's the quickest way to get to the end result, and if I enjoy it, I don't care. AI or using loops or MIDI or whatever it is, I support all different methods of making music because I think it's just, in the end,
yeah.
it's made in all different forms, and there's people out there that are lip syncing and putting on amazing performances. There's DJs out there that are just crushing it, and there's bands, then there's bands with tracks, and there's every form of it. It's all just like, is it entertaining? Is it good? That's all that matters to me. I don't care how it's done. And I think that's pretty unpopular. Probably, I don't know.
Sure.
Well said.
You got some.
An unpopular opinion of music. I don't know. Do I sound like an old head by saying I don't like a lot of the hip hop these days or something? I don't know.
No,
Do you,
no,
do you think
I
Drake
get
should have
that.
won? Is that what it is?
I get
I
that
don't know.
because
I
there
just-
was
I
a
just
certain
feel- I just
era
feel
when
like
it changed.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I guess you sound like an old head. I feel like just lyrically, metaphorically, like hip hop, like, you know, lyrics and thing were a lot different, you know, than how it is right now. One thing I like, I guess you can say I like about more hip hop these days is more of like the Gavin, like the storytelling kind of
Yeah.
thing. But as far as just like how loose rhyming is, or how just I don't feel like there's a lot of thought that goes in. I feel like people can just go into a booth and just start talking in like a rhythm or just a simple topic, and it can be like released, and it's like great lyrics to some people. And when
It's
I
also
compare
a
that
lot-
to some other lyrics that I've, like, you know, that we listened to for artists growing up that were really into like the more poetic stuff. Not poetic. I wasn't all about the poetry about it, but guys who had great rhythmic flow and, you know, could do punchlines or metaphors, and know how to like kind of sandwich like lyrics and rhyme. You know what I mean? Like,
Royce to 5'9"?
yeah, just as a perfect example, and whatnot. That's my unpopular opinion, I guess you could say, for comparing rap. Like,
It's also a lot safer now, I think. Whereas like the era we grew up in was like the Wild West when it came to hip hop. Like people were pushing it and saying stuff that was crazy, and then all of a sudden different movements happen.
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
you,
Oh, for
you
sure.
can't say what
Oh,
you
yeah,
said
yeah,
when
yeah.
we
Oh.
were growing up. Now it's like people are just canceled so quickly
Oh,
if
definitely.
they say that kind of thing.
Canceling
So
too.
If you think of the old Eminem stuff, the Biggie stuff, you know what I mean? Like, just, it's just like crazy. You know what I mean? I remember listening to the first Eminem album there for a second,
Sure.
and just being like, this would, if anyone tried to bring this right now, like to the forefront, like like this would not
get
fly.
famous for all the wrong reasons.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's my unpopular opinion.
Nice.
Johnny?
Hip hop these days.
Hip hop. I have an unpopular opinion. My unpopular opinion is in regards to Spotify. I feel like so many musicians and artists complain that Spotify doesn't pay. And I'm just like, don't use it then. But if they don't use it, then like don't complain that you're not getting your music out there.
Sure.
Unpopular
That's fair.
opinion. They're like, it doesn't pay. I'm like, yeah, but you have the chance to get exposed to people, and if you don't like it, don't use it. And they're like, yeah, but they have a monopoly. I'm like, and that's why they don't pay, because you can get on there and get noticed and get seen. To me, I don't think music, I think the days of making money through physical music sales is done. So you got to get it through streaming, and streaming doesn't pay. So you got to tour and sell merch and, you know, have an online presence and make money through social media videos and content and monthly subscription. I think it's people who grew up where it was like CD sales, and they're all like upset. We should be getting
Yeah, but
paid.
who says people were buying your music when it was on CDs?
And that's
you were
another
burning
thing.
CDs and just handing those things
Exactly.
out.
That's
and you were
another
getting
thing, too.
nothing.
And
Bands can still make the money, like you're saying, like, oh, we don't make money off streams. Like, yeah, no, of course, you know what I mean? Like,
There's so
but you
many
can
better
release
ways.
like a, you know, we didn't have CDs, you know, we released like a tangible like vinyl or something, you know what I mean, or something that can at least have
Gotta
like a
get creative.
download code or something that, like, yeah, you
Yeah.
just gotta be creative with how you're pushing it, and
It's a means to an end. It's
Yeah.
not like, okay, I just released music and I got 1 million streams, I made $10. It's just like, okay, you should be translating that into t-shirt sales online, into
Right.
concert tickets, into like some serious money. I don't know. I find a lot of people make posts and like, oh, Spotify, they should be this and that. I'm like, no one owes you
Excuses.
anything.
That's
They
what it is,
created the
really.
platform. You weren't selling music anyways. And it's just like, just deal with it or don't use it.
And you
And
can get
everyone's
away-
going to be like, I'm going to use it anyways.
And
I'm
you can
like,
get
yeah,
away
right.
like you're saying even too, like like you don't need a gazillion dollars to make a track that is one day gonna hit it or something, hit it big. Like videos are just
Yeah.
whipped up on phones these days. You're saving money that way.
People are making songs on their phones.
Yeah.
that
Like, I
they're
remember
releasing.
like when we grew up in the era. I remember someone, the Americans had the
TRL or
TRL, yeah,
MTV and,
and
Much
MTV,
Music.
and we had the Much Music and whatnot. And it's just like, like millions of dollars were going into music videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now you can
literally.
spend $1 million. You can be like on a music video and just be like
Well, it's not even a music video. Yeah, it's just like just recording stuff raw on your phone. It's like you have everyone. It's as they say, it's a level playing field now,
Really?
and there's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many people out there, and it's just like you have to fight through the weeds and just create a name for yourself. So my unpopular opinion is Spotify and any of that, all the royalties. I'm like, you have to come up with your own way to make serious money. You got to think outside the box. No one owes you anything, especially the owners of Spotify. That's my unpopular opinion. Anyways, this was a great episode. Andy, thank you so much. You survived. Was it okay, Andy?
It was great.
It was
Still
great.
with us?
That's
Yeah,
it,
I'm still
man.
with you
That's
guys,
it.
man.
Great job, Andy.
All right,
Let's
guys.
go, buddy. All right, everyone. That was season 2, episode 4 of
That's
That.
And that's that.